The NFL has always been a league where superstar running backs steal the spotlight. Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Jim Brown, and Emmitt Smith are household names. Legends whose legacies are cemented in football history. When people discuss the greatest running backs of all time, it's usually the same select group that comes up, and for good reason. These players were dominant forces, breaking records and carrying teams to victory. But for every legend, there are countless running backs who were just as impactful, but never received the recognition they truly deserved. Some played for struggling franchises that never found the postseason spotlight. Others were overshadowed by bigger names, despite putting up Hall of Fame caliber numbers. Some simply played in the wrong era, where their contributions were overlooked in favor of flashier stars. These are the forgotten workhorses, the guys who put up elite production but never got the love they deserved. Today, we're breaking down 8 of the most underrated running backs in NFL history, players who should be in every conversation about the all-time greats, but rarely are. Number 8, Fred Taylor. If you ask die-hard Jacksonville Jaguars fans about Fred Taylor, they'll tell you he was one of the best running backs of his generation. The problem? Almost nobody outside of Jacksonville talks about him. Taylor played 13 seasons, rushing for 11,695 yards and 66 touchdowns, while averaging an impressive 4.6 yards per carry. That yards per carry mark is higher than several Hall of Famers, including Emmitt Smith and Jerome Bettis. He was an explosive runner, capable of breaking off 50-yard runs with ease, while also being a reliable workhorse. His biggest issue? Injuries early in his career gave him an unfair reputation for being fragile. But from 2002 to 2008, he was incredibly durable, racking up 6 1,000-yard seasons and dominating defenses. The biggest injustice? He only made 1 Pro Bowl. How does a player with nearly 12,000 yards only make 1 Pro Bowl? If he had played for a high-profile franchise, there's no doubt he'd be in the Hall of Fame discussion. Number 7, Priest Holmes. For a brief moment in time, Priest Holmes was the most dominant running back in the NFL. From 2001 to 2003, he put together one of the greatest 3-year stretches in football history. Over 4,500 rushing yards and 56 total touchdowns. Let that sink in. 56 touchdowns in 3 years. Holmes was an absolute scoring machine for the Kansas City Chiefs, setting an NFL record with 27 rushing touchdowns in 2003. A record that stood until LaDainian Tomlinson broke it. His ability to find the end zone was unmatched, and he was just as dangerous catching passes out of the backfield. So why is he underrated? Holmes didn't break out until age 28 after being stuck behind Jamal Lewis in Baltimore. His career was also cut short by injuries, preventing him from accumulating long-term stats. But at his peak, he was as good as anyone who ever played the position. Number 6, Ricky Watters. Ricky Watters was one of the most productive and versatile running backs of the 1990s, yet his name is rarely mentioned among the era's greats. Over his career, he amassed over 10,000 rushing yards, 78 rushing touchdowns, and another 4,000 receiving yards, proving himself as both a dominant runner and a reliable receiving threat out of the backfield. He was a 5-time Pro Bowler and played a key role in the San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl victory in 1994. Contributing significantly to one of the most explosive offenses of the decade. Despite his impressive numbers and championship pedigree, Watters remains one of the most overlooked running backs in NFL history. One reason for this is his infamous "for who, for what" comment, which came after he avoided a big hit on a pass play in his first game with the Philadelphia Eagles. That single moment unfairly shaped his public image, overshadowing what was otherwise an outstanding career. Watters had the complete skill set. He could run, catch, and block, making him an invaluable piece of every team he played for. Yet despite his consistent production and longevity, he still hasn't been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which in my opinion is an egregious oversight that continues to diminish the legacy of one of the most well-rounded backs of his time. Number 5, Corey Dillon. Corey Dillon was one of the most physically dominant and relentless runners of his era, yet his greatness was often overlooked due to the teams he played for. Beginning his career with the Cincinnati Bengals, Dillon was a bright spot on a struggling franchise, consistently producing at a high level despite being surrounded by mediocre talent. He rushed for over 1,100 yards in 6 consecutive seasons, carrying the Bengals' offense almost single-handedly. However, because Cincinnati was rarely competitive during that time, his talent and contributions didn't receive the national recognition they deserved. Dillon's fortunes changed in 2004 when he joined the New England Patriots, finally playing on a team with championship aspirations. He put together the best season of his career, rushing for a career-high 1,635 yards and helping the Patriots win Super Bowl 39. This proved that Dillon wasn't just a talented back, he was a championship-caliber workhorse capable of leading a winning team. Despite finishing his career with over 11,000 rushing yards, Dillon's name is rarely brought up in discussions about all-time greats. His dominance, consistency, and ability to thrive in any situation make him one of the most underrated running backs in NFL history. Number 4. Warrick Dunn. Warrick Dunn was one of the most versatile and consistent running backs of his era, excelling as both a rusher and a receiver throughout his career. Over the course of his time in the NFL, he accumulated nearly 11,000 rushing yards and over 4,000 receiving yards, making him a key offensive weapon for both the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. Despite playing alongside other star players, Dunn's impact on the field was undeniable as he consistently provided his team with explosive plays and reliability in both the running and passing game. Standing at just 5'9" and weighing 190 pounds, Dunn was never the biggest or most physically imposing player on the field. But what he lacked in size, he more than made up for with elite vision, quickness, and elusiveness. His ability to find running lanes and make defenders miss allowed him to record 5 1,000-yard rushing seasons, proving that he was more than capable of handling the workload of a feature back. Long before dual-threat running backs became a staple in the modern NFL, Dunn was excelling in that role, setting the stage for future generations. Beyond his impressive football career, Dunn is widely respected for his off-the-field contributions. He is best known for his extensive charitable work, particularly his programs dedicated to helping single mothers purchase homes. His impact extends far beyond football, touching the lives of countless families in need. Yet despite his remarkable contributions, both on and off the field, Dunn still does not receive the level of recognition he truly deserves. Number 3. Ahman Green. Ahman Green was one of the most explosive and productive running backs of the early 2000s, yet he remains vastly underrated. Over his career, he rushed for more than 9,200 yards and 60 touchdowns, cementing himself as the all-time leading rusher in Green Bay Packers history. His peak came in 2003 when he delivered one of the best seasons ever by a Packers running back, rushing for a franchise record 1,883 yards and scoring 20 total touchdowns. That season, Green was nearly unstoppable, combining power, vision, and breakaway speed to dominate opposing defenses. Despite his impressive numbers and critical role in the Packers' offense, Green never received the recognition he truly deserved. One major reason was the presence of Brett Favre, one of the most iconic quarterbacks in NFL history. Because Green Bay was seen as Favre's team, Green's contributions were often overshadowed. While Favre led the air attack, Green quietly carried the ground game, keeping the offense balanced and dangerous. Multiple Pro Bowl selections and record-breaking performances, Green's name is rarely mentioned among the top running backs of his era. His ability to grind through tough yards, break big runs, and serve as a true workhorse back makes him one of the most underrated players in NFL history. Number 2. Matt Forte. Matt Forte stands as one of the most accomplished dual-threat running backs in NFL history. Over his illustrious career, he accumulated nearly 10,000 rushing yards and 4,672 receiving yards, a testament to his versatile skill set. His ability to contribute both on the ground and through the air made him a dynamic force on offense, constantly keeping defenses on edge. One of Forte's most impressive feats came in 2014 when he recorded a remarkable 102 receptions. This achievement was groundbreaking for a running back as it was an unprecedented number at the time. His proficiency as both a runner and a receiver set him apart from many of his contemporaries, showcasing a level of versatility that was rarely seen. Had he played in today's NFL, which is dominated by high-octane passing offenses, Forte would undoubtedly have been viewed as a superstar. His skill set would have flourished even more in the current pass-heavy league, solidifying his place among the elite players in the game's history. His legacy as a dual-threat running back remains unmatched. Number 1. Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson is often considered one of the most underappreciated running backs in NFL history. Throughout his career, he demonstrated exceptional skill, posting an impressive 8 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. This remarkable streak was achieved while playing for some of the most underperforming Rams teams in the league, a testament to Jackson's relentless consistency and ability to produce despite the lack of supporting talent around him. Jackson finished his career with a staggering 11,438 rushing yards, making him one of the all-time greats at his position. He was not only a powerful runner with excellent speed, but also a durable and versatile player who could handle a heavy workload. Despite possessing all the traits of a complete back, he was often overlooked largely due to the fact that the Rams were a non-factor in the playoff race for much of his career. Had Jackson played for a more successful franchise, it's likely he would have received more recognition and accolades for his tremendous achievements. Unfortunately, his greatness was overshadowed by the team's struggles, but his impact on the game is undeniable, and his legacy as one of the best running backs remains intact. Now, not for nothing, the 8 running backs we've just discussed were truly elite, each and every one of them leaving a lasting mark on the NFL. But for various reasons, they never received the recognition their careers deserved. Whether it was the misfortune of players for horrible teams, being overshadowed by bigger names, or having their promising careers cut short by injury or circumstance, these players have been unfairly overlooked in the wider narrative of NFL greatness. However, despite the lack of mainstream recognition, there's no denying the incredible talent, determination, and work ethic they displayed on the field. These players were pioneers in their own right, showcasing exceptional skill sets and achieving remarkable feats that solidified their places in football history. It's time we shine a light on those often forgotten legends and start giving them the respect we've long been due. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Who do you think is the most underrated running back of all time? Share your thoughts and let's continue the conversation about these incredible athletes who deserve a place in the spotlight. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video and make sure to subscribe for more football content. Peace out!